Good morning, everybody. It's Bernard, and I'm, looking at the scriptures this morning. In particular, Matthew chapter 5, verses 3 through 11 or 12, which typically are referred to as the Beatitudes or Beatitudes, depending on who you talk to. And I'm looking at verse 8 in particular, where it says, "Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God." That is the rendering out of the King James Version. I have a version here called the New Century Version that renders it this way: "Blessed are those whose thoughts are pure, for they will see God." And that's very significant this morning, and in general, because in order to fully understand that verse, we have to understand what it means when it says, first, pure. What is purity? What does that mean? There are so many who believe that just coming to the altar on any particular Sunday or Saturday, whatever day you worship on, or during a Bible study or a revival or what have you, they came to the altar and even were baptized. Even were baptized, and they were told to say a sinner's prayer. And after that, what's next? What has to happen next in order for me to truly be a follower of Christ? And the first thing that has to happen is our thoughts must become pure. Pure thoughts, because all of our lives, so many things that are negative and defiling and harmful to any spiritual profitability at all has been fed to us, whether it be the poor example we receive from our parents or relatives, the things that we've chosen to watch on television before coming to Christ, the music we listen to before coming to Christ, and at times the movies and the influences that we still allow in our lives after coming to Christ and making a proclamation of faith. So it's important to understand that only those that are pure in thought will see God, because the thought is the beginning of it all. But first, to understand, we take a look at the word pure. And the word pure means to be clean, to be free, to be clear, and to have no mixture of any extraneous, which means any extra components at all. Our thoughts must be centered and focused on Christ, pure, as the Bible calls it, Yeshua calls it, a singleness of eye, right? If the whole eye be light, then the body be light. If the eye be, if the eye be single, the whole body be light. If the eye be dark, then the whole body is dark. And it's talking about the singleness of purpose and intention. So to understand, again, pure is to be morally free from any defilement, without spot, without blemish, without tarnish. And remember, Christ is coming back for a church without spot and without blemish. So that's important, but it starts in the thoughts. The King James, again, gives it to us as "blessed are the pure in heart." And a lot of times when people talk about the heart, they say, I believe in my heart. They touch their chest or point to their chest, or I felt it in my heart. What they really mean is that it was here. It was a thought, right? That triggered an emotion, a feeling, an intention, a desire, a certain mental disposition, right? Because this thing in our chest simply, pumps blood throughout our bodies. It doesn't have any thought or purpose or intention at all. But, when you feel nervous, a thought of something causes a chemical reaction. You feel it in your heart. You feel your heart racing fast. And that's where that expression comes from. But really, it started here in the mind, right? A thought triggers a joyous emotion. A thought triggers an emotion of anger. A thought triggers an emotion of fear. So it is in the thoughts that everything begins. Proverbs 4:23 tells us to guard our heart with all diligence, for out of it flows the issues of life. Just like out of the centerpiece of our body, our hearts, flows our life, our blood that nourishes our body with oxygen and nutrients and such. Our mind, everything we do flows from that place. Every intention, every desire, every purpose. And it's important that the thoughts become pure, because that will translate, just as Proverbs tells us, we have to guard our thoughts, because pure thoughts will translate into purity of life. Defiling thoughts and impure thoughts will translate into an impurity of life. And only those whose thoughts are first pure, because again, the what's called the remez, which the pashat, which is the basic meaning of it, is to have pure thoughts. But the underlying meaning is that those pure thoughts will translate into purity of life. So if we're going to see God, if we're going to be a part of that church, right, that Christ is coming back for, it has to begin with purity of thought. So I encourage you today, as I wrap this up, this brief study, if you will, if I wrap it up, is to think about the things that you're thinking about, how you think about people, how you think about those who you may have had aught with, if you may have had issue with, and reconcile those things, beloved, because you only hurt yourself. Your thoughts are impure, there's unforgiveness, and there's a lack of compassion and mercy. See those people, change your perception. See those people as people who need prayer, who need Christ. If you've offended anyone, go and try to reconcile those things with them so that your thoughts can be pure, so that your life can be pure, and so that you, beloved, can see God. God bless you. Love you all.